Welcome back, guys. It's been a while since the last video, so thank you for returning. And before I get started, Perseverance T release went very well. I sold out in my first little round in about 4 days, surprisingly, and most of the sizes are now back up in stock. So if you haven't gotten your T, place your order now, and see if we can sell them out again, right? I'm working on the next release. It's going to be kind of a special release. So for those people who have kind of stuck with the brand and have shown a lot of interest, you should be getting some type of information before the release. It is going to be kind of a special little thing. I won't have a huge supply of them, so if you are interested in hearing and seeing what it will be, comment below just so I know that you are interested, and you'll get a little message about it. So comment below, and if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the channel. But on to what I kind of want to talk about today. This isn't really a special video. This is kind of something that I wanted to get off my chest, and something that a lot of you aren't aware of. So when I was younger, I was actually kind of a goofball. You can ask my parents and my brother. I was kind of the funny kid who went around telling jokes and didn't take anything seriously. And somewhere along the line, it kind of faded away. And if you know me now, I'm not the type of person who takes a lot of time for myself, and I don't really know how to relax. I'm always working, but a lot of people ask me, like, what happened? Like, what happened in your life that kind of pointed you in this direction and made you change from that goofy kid? And honestly, it took until about 2 weeks ago for me to realize what it was. And it was like 9 years ago. So it's literally taken me 9 years to figure this out. When I was 17, me and my family went on a cruise. We went to the Bahamas and Key West. It was really fun. Only cruise I've ever been on. But I really enjoyed it. And I walked to the casino, and I played blackjack, and I lost $40. But by the casino, usually every night there was a Jamaican band playing, and the lead singer, think of a Jamaican guy, that's who he was. He had huge dreads, they were actually down past his butt, and he was really good at singing. And it got to the point, I was passing him like every night, and we would give each other the little wave. I thought I was really cool. And one night near the end of the cruise, I ended up walking to the back of the cruise ship. And if you've ever been on a cruise, you know that, like, anywhere you are on the ship, there's usually one or two or even more people in that area. But surprisingly, this night on the back of the ship, I was the only one back there. And I was watching the sunset. The boat was turned to where the back of the ship you could see the sunset, and I don't know why. Looking back, I don't know why I was the only one back there. But I was sitting back there, and the door opens, and surprisingly, it was the Jamaican guy, the singer from the band. And I guess he was done for the night or whatever. And he sat with me, and we were talking for a little bit, and he ended up telling me a little bit about himself. He was telling me where he was from and all that, and it got to him explaining how you have all these people who work on the cruise ship, and you wonder, how long are they on the ship? Where are they all? Are they all from the same place? Well, they're all from different places, and a lot of the families of the workers on the ship are impoverished families. They're not well off financially, so these people work for months, going back and forth on cruises. They save up the money, they take them back to their families, and they're back on the cruise ship. So they don't see their families a lot, and they're constantly working to help support their family back home. And that was the point where my eyes were opened. Realizing how well off I had it, and I do have, kind of changed my mindset. So I ended up, pointing my head in the direction of, you actually have to work hard to even support the people around you. Some people have it a little bit easier than others, but I had that mentality where even if I couldn't afford it, I wanted to be able to support not only myself but the people around me, and kind of have it. That's where I hate to be cliche, but that's where my workhorse mentality derived from, was realizing how easy off I had it and not taking that for granted. So for those of you who are wondering, that's where that derived from. You're newly knowledgeable to that as much as I am. So leading off of that, since I've moved up here to Charleston, I have realized that the brand Workhorse has expanded, and I'm actually going to have to include more stock in my releases. So that's something I'm taking into consideration. And a lot of you don't know the backstory to the brand, how we all got started. And back 3 or so years ago, around 3 years ago, I got contacted by some clothing brand I didn't really know anything about, but they contacted me asking me to help them kind of, throw in the sponsor word around. And they were like, if you show interest in the company, make one purchase, and from then on, we'll send you free stuff. Just, you gotta post, and that's it. You just get free clothes after you make one purchase. And, young me was like, oh, okay, let's do it. So I placed a decent order for clothes, and I waited a couple weeks, still didn't have my stuff, so I emailed the people probably 15 times, to where eventually 3 months later, I got the clothes, and they were all the wrong sizes, all the wrong clothes, and the worst quality clothes I've ever seen. And they were still pushing me to sell the product in that little time frame to where I didn't even have my order. So they were trying to get me to sell stuff before they even got it to me. How am I supposed to sell your product if I can't even trust you to send it to me? So when that happened, I was like, you know what? Why live a life where you're trying to have companies give you stuff and you work for them when you can create your own company? You can own the clothing brand. You can own the supplement brand. That's kind of the mentality I have now. So ironically, a few weeks later, my friend Kramer came up to me and he's like, hey man, I've been thinking, let's try to start a little startup business. And that led into him bringing the name Workhorse. And he's like, let's start it like a clothing line, name it Workhorse. And I'm like, wow, why not? Let's do it. So Kramer brought the name Workhorse, and Matt and Davey ended up coming in with us, and we were kind of like, the four of us were a group together, and we set up a meeting in my parents' dining room at the dining room table. I bought everybody notebooks, bought everybody pens, and we wrote down notes, and we sat there for 3 hours going over all kinds of stuff, and we ended up we had a logo drawn by Taylor Blevins, the horse head logo, that some of you guys may have seen. And we ended up having our first shorts made for us, and we had a few people interested, so we ended up taking the money we made off that first order, put it into another order of t-shirts, and we ended up placing an order for tank tops, which then rolled over into the baseball tees. So we created a little bit of interest in the first couple months, and it surprised all four of us. And that led into the Red Empire tee, the Nightmare tank top, where B. Roberts ended up helping with that. She helped out along the way as well. And, time went on, and some of us started running into life. Davey ended up going to pharmacy school, so he kind of had he had to branch off. Matt ended up graduating, and he ran into Destiny, and life took over for him, so he was too busy, and Kramer ended up with Summer and Ava, and he was busy with that. It wasn't a big bad breakup between all of us. It was, everybody was fine with it, everybody understood. So that ended up around that time, around the time that everybody started splitting off. Lindsay ended up coming in, and she helped out a lot with the brand, coming up with ideas, and expanding the market as well. So she helped out a lot, and then once that ended up coming to an end, that's when I was transitioning up here to Charleston, and I realized that the brand has actually doubled in size. So here I am, and I've kind of taken on the role of, I'm in a situation where I can't let this brand die, because I know, looking back on it, the true meaning to it. I know I use it, I try to use it to motivate you guys, but it motivates me as well. And I feel like I've kind of enveloped myself in the name, so it's like my child now. And I can't let anything happen to it. So I'm doing the best I can to get it going back in the right direction. And we've been through a lot, and here we are, and I'm loving every minute of it. And yeah, so that's all I really had to talk about today. Still don't have my SD card, so sorry for the bad quality. This is on my iPhone. I didn't really want to edit this one. I just kind of wanted to throw something up. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed the backstory. Remember, if you're interested in the next release, comment below, and then subscribe to the channel. Follow the Instagram, like the Facebook page, all the fun stuff. So until next time, guys, adios.